All right, let's try recording this again. I just did the dumb. I tried to record this and it was muted. So, real quick, I'm in Maine. We're driving the Cybertruck. That's New Hampshire. I'm driving that way. So I'm going from Maine to New Hampshire. I'm driving the Cybertruck all back roads to Western Maryland. It's going to take about 11 and a half to 12 hours, something like that. It was about that coming up. I did the same thing on the way up here. The big difference here is that I know how to do it properly. I keep looking at myself instead of the camera. I know how to do it properly now, so I'll be able to do it a little bit faster. It's not hard to do it. I'm really looking forward to the update that they're going to push with having the ability to do avoid highways in the software, because it is kind of annoying to have to do it this way. Right now, I have to do is use Google Maps or Apple Maps to avoid highways, and then kind of force the navigation by choosing the path that I want. It's not hard. It just takes a long time, which is whatever. It's fine. I'm a fan of highways, and avoiding highways and taking byways, going through small towns, seeing things that you normally wouldn't see. That's my preference of driving. She's dirty. She's loaded. I came up here to visit some friends. They're moving down my way. And, right now the truck's got a full load of stuff from my friends because they're going to be moving down our way. And they don't have a big truck or anything like that. So, but it was a lot of fun to be up here. Small town up here. I took the truck down, parked it next to a bar, and was going to go in and get a drink, and it took me an hour to walk in the door because people wanted to ask questions. So it's a lot of fun to drive this thing around the country, and I look forward to more trips. So let me get on the road, and I'll stop a few times, and we'll talk about it. Right. Well, I am about an hour and 45 minutes away from my first stop. I have, since my last stop where I was recording earlier about a half an hour ago, I've done only about 20 miles because it's all back roads, but it's been a lot of over small hills and things, no mountainous type things, but maybe a couple 100 feet here and there. We're at 388 watt hours per mile, which isn't great. My overall for this trip so far today is 362 watt hours per mile, but my trip efficiency on the way up here was, I think, 307 watt hours per mile, which works out to be like nearly 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour. I mean, it's pretty darn good. It's really, like I said, on back roads, super efficient. My around town efficiency was crazy. It was like 285 or something like that while I was up in Maine. 285 watt hours per mile, which I don't know what that works out to off the top of my head. But it was very, very good around town. And when I say around town, it's not like we're going like 2 miles. Like, we were driving an hour here, an hour there, but all on local roads up in Maine. So anyway, I am going to be in the car for another hour and a half, hour 45 minutes before my supercharger stop. I'll do a real quick video there. I'm only going to be there for about 15 minutes, and then I should be able to make it to probably Gettysburg from Vermont, because it's actually really, really nice cruise down the Hudson Valley and then down through the Delaware Water Gap. Well, actually, I might need to stop outside of Allentown, so I might make 2 stops instead of trying to stretch it to Gettysburg. We'll see. I might be able to make it to Gettysburg. So we'll see once I get there. I'll plan for it, and I'll meet up with you in about an hour and 45 minutes. All right, so we're stopped at Brattleboro, Vermont. Brattleboro, Vermont Supercharger is, I think it's 18 stalls. Let me see how many this is. 14 stalls. I don't know. There's two cars here. It's myself and another Model 3. Lots of empty stalls on either side. But when I was here 2 days ago, I think there was only like 4 empty spots at the time. It was really packed. There's a supermarket, a Rite Aid, Dollar Tree, a Chinese food place, Domino's Pizza, a bagel shop, and a Dunkin' right here. So not too bad on the amenities. Anyway, so far, I've done 125, 126 miles, something like that. I kind of forgot to reset the trip meter on time, but we're at 338 watt hour per mile because it was a lot of mountains. I came up some pretty big mountains. I've got some more to go before I get down into the Hudson Valley, and then it'll be pretty easy going for the rest of the trip, except for 1 or 2 mountains when I get closer to home. So it's really not that hilly from this point forward. So what we're looking at here now is I'm going to take a drive through southwestern Vermont towards Albany, New York. Can't say that very fast. And then south from there through the Hudson Valley down towards the Allentown area, and then southwest from Allentown down towards Gettysburg and that area till I get to Western Maryland. I think I've got probably another, if I were to just take the highways from here, let me just put that into the trip computer, it would tell me that I'm going to stop. It would actually take me south of here to Connecticut, which I'm not doing, and then to Allentown, Pennsylvania, then home in Western Maryland. And it says that it would get me there by 8 o'clock. Now, if I do the same navigation in Google Maps by avoiding highways, what I'll do real quick is actually pause my recording, do a screen capture with me recording voice, and map it to where I'm heading, avoiding highways. And you can see that it's a significant difference in time, but when I do this, I'll probably be able to charge here and then one more time just to kind of get home for about 10 minutes. I'll charge for 10 more minutes at another supercharger, and then I'll get home with plenty of charge. Right now it's telling me I would have to charge for almost an hour to get home. So I'll have this charge I'm doing right now and one more 10-minute charge. I'll get home no problem. So it's a lot more efficient on power. Obviously it's not efficient on time, but I'm not looking for time efficiency. I'm looking to have a nice, enjoyable drive and enjoy the vehicle. So real quick, let me pause my video recording. I'm going to go into Google Maps and record that. All right, so as you can see, I am sitting at the Tesla Supercharger here in Brattleboro, Vermont. If I wanted to go to the town I live in, Hagerstown, Maryland, that's 347 miles away. And again, the truck is telling me that it would be a 2-hour and 33-minute drive to the next supercharger, and I wouldn't get home for another, let me do the quick math here, 8 hours, okay? If I hit this, it says 9 hours and 45 minutes. Obviously, I'm going to have to stop for a supercharger along the way because that's 420 miles, but I should only have to stop once, and I'll probably stop down this way somewhere. Right here. So I'll probably stop down in this area somewhere outside of Allentown. And that's it. I'll stop one more time. It is, again, an hour. Let's see, it says I'll get home in 8 hours from now. So it's an hour and 45 minutes longer to do no highways and have a lot more efficiency. So it's a lot more fun. I highly enjoy it. this limo driver just pulled up and asked me how to get set up in the app, and now he's charging his EQS on the Tesla app. He said he got this thing with 7,000 miles on it for half the price of brand new. That's a really nice car. Okay, so I am in Madam Morris, Pennsylvania. There's a bunch of superchargers here. There was another car sitting here, but they left just now. Gosh, I don't know how many hours away from home. 5? I think I'm 5 hours from home. Let's look at this map. Do the math, carry the 5. Yeah, 5. It's 5 hours from home. So 4.5 hours from home. Whatever. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Take the back roads. So far, I've taken almost 95% back roads. There's had to be a couple highway spots where I went around either went around traffic or jumped from one county to the next or something like that. It was, nothing crazy. So far on this trip, 321 miles, 334 watt hours per mile, 107 kilowatts used. Charging up right now. I'm at 63%. When I left, I'm at 63%. Sorry. When I left my first charging stop, I only charged up to 75%. And this morning when I left Maine, I only had like 64%. So I haven't charged up to like a high level at all this entire trip. Right now I'm sitting at 64. I'm going to charge up probably to 75-ish. That should give me enough. That should give me more than enough to get back home. It's only, I think it's only like 220 miles to home. Right now I'm sitting at 204 miles of range at 64%. So I'll give it a little bit of leeway and charge up, like I said, about 75%. On the way home, I do hit a spot where I get back about 5% for free from downhills. So that's something I'm looking forward to. But yeah, so far, it's been a great drive. I'll put up, like I said, I'll put up some screenshots from my Google Maps timelines that shows where I've been and the trip that I took. And you'll see that there's been a couple a couple segments of highway, but for the most part, it's been back roads. Some of it, it's a high speed back road, like 50, 55 miles an hour, but it's not, a divided highway like, 95 or something like that. And I've only stopped once. This is the second stop. This will be the second and final stop that I make. The first stop, I was only there for about 15 minutes, maybe. This one is a little bit longer. I've been here for kind of hard to say. I don't remember exactly what time I got here. It was a little bit longer of a stop, but it's not bad. And there's plenty of stuff here. There's even a movie theater right here. There's a Wendy's and some other food down the way here. So there's plenty of stuff to do if you do have to stop here in Madam Morris. I think that's what it's called. Madam Morris, Pennsylvania. And lots of superchargers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, like 16 superchargers at least. Yeah. So once I get home, I'll make sure I take a screenshot of the trip, and we'll make sense of what it looks like, how much power I used, and I'll tell you some thoughts that I have about how to do a road trip without using the highways right now. So far, the biggest tip is just use Google Maps or Apple Maps on your phone. I have a MagSafe mount. My phone just attaches to that, and it just sits there in my eye line, and I don't have to really do much. Once I start getting close to where I've set the destination, usually I just hit like swipe down on the navigation for find home, and it usually takes me to the nearest supercharger that I was aiming to get to in the first place. So I just kind of look along the route that I want to take in the back roads, and I find about, a third or whatever halfway point, whatever happens to be that's necessary. Find a town that has a supercharger there, and just that's what I do. So pretty straightforward. But yeah, it's been not quite as long of a day as my other trip up. That one took a little bit longer. I've been on the road for about 7 hours right now. I've got another 4.5 hours, so it's a little bit shorter. Like I said, it's a longer drive by about 2 to 3 hours than going down the highway. But the highway is boring. The highway is annoying. People in Connecticut, people in New York City, people in Massachusetts, it's insane. So this is a much more relaxing, less nerve-wracking. I get home, yeah, I'm a little tired from how much time I've been in the car, but I'm not tired from the stress of being in the car. So highly recommend it if you get a chance. I've got about 5 more minutes before I'm gonna, not even, where am I now? I'm at 69%, nice. I'm gonna leave here in about 7%, 6 or 7% more, and head home. So the next video will probably be when I get home. I'll show you what the truck, God, it's covered in bugs right now. Yeah, it's getting pretty nasty. Lots of bugs. But I'll do a before wash and after wash as well. So maybe I'll do a video about that. Let me know if you want to see how the Cybertruck gets washed by a total amateur who has zero interest in doing crazy detailing. I use Windex and Barkeeper's Friend. So anyway, yeah, next video will be, or the next clip will be basically at home. So see you then. Okay, so I got home last night pretty late, actually. I ended up spending a lot of time talking to a few people at one of the stops that I was at, and that pushed me back by almost an hour, actually. So anyway, I got home last night and just immediately went to sleep. I was exhausted. But if I go into my trips, so that last trip that I just did was 546 miles, used 180 kilowatt hours of energy and 329 watt hours per mile, which is actually a little bit worse than my trip up. I was at 307, I believe it was, on my way up. But the really, really interesting part of that is, though, that I only charged for about 15 minutes my first charge, and then like 25 minutes for the second one. But I was in the car for, I think I was driving for 11 hours. And I started out the drive with like a 64% charge or something like that. So you can do 11 hours of driving in this thing all day long, no problem. I mean, it was fine. I mean, granted, 546 miles over 11 hours is not great, but I took as many back roads as I possibly could. I took, at one point I was going for 2 hours on these little switchback mountain roads through Pennsylvania, New York, and Vermont. I mean, it was great. It was like, well, it was more than 2 hours of that. I guess it was like almost 4 hours of that. It was fantastic. It was beautiful. I guess I turned that on. And no, I had a great drive. No stress whatsoever. Completely comfortable. I loved it. I'll do a quick separate video about, how dirty the truck got after 546 miles of driving through back roads and mountains and all that. And then
I'll wash it and show you what it looks like afterwards. So, again, I'm not a professional detailer, so I'm just gonna do my half-assed job that I always do. So.